Hey everybody, welcome back to Pete's Classic Cycle. Pete here, and today we've got this beautiful Kawasaki S2 350 and its owner, Paul. Paul, why don't you tell us a bit about this bike, why it's so special to you, and kind of your background with this thing?
Well, I bought it when I was 16 years old, and because I had a car, smashed it up, so I had to get another source of transportation. So I bought this bike, and I immediately fell in love with it.
Wow.
Because I'd never seen another one. Yeah, it was special to me. I used to drive the hell out of this thing. Yeah. Literally, oh yeah. It doesn't have the original back tire, so it's a wider back tire. It has an H1 500. I think it might have come from the factory like that. I have no idea. Yeah, it was a lot of fun back then, I tell you.
Yeah.
Doubling my friend around on it with a case of beer, a case of bottles. Yeah, I used to race everybody on it too, and it was, for such a small bike, it did really well.
Yeah.
You know, like I'd race 750s, 500s, everything on the thing. I wasn't afraid, you know. No fear back then.
No.
So, unfortunately, I let it sit outside for years,
yeah,
and years and years, from one tree to another tree to another tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was pretty rough. I was a pretty terrible owner at that point. Yeah, I finally decided it's a good time in my life to try and fix it. So I had time last winter, and a lot of evenings in the garage, many hours, many hours, and a lot of part searching. Hard trying to find the parts. Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun though. I really enjoyed it. I used to like working on it back when I was young too. I'd rip it apart every Friday night, go racing, burn the rings out of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And have to rip it all apart again. And
what kind of struck your interest again with the bike after sitting for so long? Because you showed me pictures, it was pretty rough. I mean,
yeah,
the seat pan looked like Swiss cheese. So,
yeah.
What?
I think it might have been a challenge because, you know, we talk about motorcycles all the time, and every once in a while I'd say, yeah, I have this bike still from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And, oh, let me see it. And I'd show them, and they'll go, oh, what are you going to do with that, you know? And like, you can't fix that. I said, I'll fix it one day. Oh, no, you can't fix that. So it's kind of a challenge because everybody said it's beyond repair. I dragged it out of the bush with my excavator. I've got pictures of it and stuff. It's swinging from the excavator, and I put it in the shop. That's day one.
Wow.
And I'm always up for a challenge, so I thought, why not? You know, I've seen them restored. You see pictures of them in England and stuff, and it's just like, they just look so nice, you know? Yeah. And I fell in love with the bike when I was young so much that I couldn't let it go. I had to do it, you know?
We were talking earlier when I first showed up, but your balance between keeping it original and restored, I think you did an excellent job.
Yeah.
Not over restoring it, keeping the natural aesthetic on a lot of the parts. So. Yeah,
I didn't want it to be too shiny, polished looking, so, you know, kind of new but ridden, you know?
Yeah,
that was my goal.
You know, you mentioned being a bit of a hooligan back in the day.
Yeah.
Do you mind telling the story about pulling your brother on the skis?
Yeah, one winter, we had my bike out in his garage out in the country there, and I fired it up and started riding around the driveway and stuff, and he had cross-country skis and a ski rope there. Hooked it on the back of that bar, and down the road we went. And I just kept going and going and going until I hit 100. The bike only did 104 mile an hour. The way I had, because I have a bigger sprocket on it.
Yeah.
So I get 104 out of it. I got 100 mile an hour out of that thing, and I look back, and I see him going flying because the crown of the road was like this, and he was off to the side. Head just missed the mailbox by that much. Just missed, man, by that much. And then it took me everything to try and slow down without wiping out.
Yeah,
it was just,
of course.
Oh yeah, and then we creeped her back, and it was crazy.
Cool.
Me and my brother, Andy, we were pretty crazy back in the day, and we were always up for some crazy stunts. Unfortunately, we didn't have cameras and film to do it back then because we'd be getting lots of views, I would imagine.
Oh yeah.
This bike went everywhere with me. I took it trail riding, like it went everywhere. You know, there's a party back in the bush, well, it's going with me wherever, you know, oh yeah. Yeah, I could go places with that thing.
I love hearing stuff like that because, like nowadays they're restored, people park them nice, they're pavement princesses, but it's cool to hear, at least for me being a younger person, the stories.
Set it on fire one time. We went to a campsite. They couldn't get the fire going, so I grab a styrofoam cup, pull the fuel hose off, fill the styrofoam cup, immediately melts through the cup. I run towards the fire that they were just trying to light. Poof! Runs to the bike, gas is all over the bike, it's on fire. I'm like, I just hop on it and took off. I'm gonna put it out with wind. I'm ripping through the gears. I managed to get it put out and saved it.
So this thing survived winter, it's survived fires, off-roading.
Yeah.
And how many decades beside tree to tree and
yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Many races too back in the day. It was good to me. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Well, Paul, thanks so much for sharing your story with me. I think just the story of this bike alone is incredible. It's still in one piece, and you did a great job restoring it. Like, really good job, like I said. So I think the only thing left to do is hear how it sounds.
Yeah, let's fire up.
Let's do it.
Yeah.